So I forgot to mention in the previous videos a couple events that happened previous to me reporting my son's father. I suppose I'd already, my family became aware of what I had spoken to my son's father about after the initial disclosure from my son. And so the persecution started with my family. Instant denial, instant rejection, instant just not even finding out why or what I'd reported to his father or what I'd spoken to his father about. They didn't even ask me. They didn't, there was just instant persecution from my family. And another thing, my son's father got caught for vandalizing someone's car, or he mistakenly bumped someone's car and then drove off or something, and he was found out by the police. And this is his most favorite tactic, is to distract people from himself and project, or rather draw attention to someone else, to draw the attention away from himself. He'll point to someone else. I think it's common with people like this. They'll try and take the attention off them and point to someone else. So he reported to the police that I was accusing him of abuse of my son. So I'd had a call from social services, and I was literally so grateful because we had, my son's father and I and my son had planned a holiday to South Africa for that Christmas, and I was desperate not to go with my son's father. And the only reason I was desperate not to go with him is because I didn't want him ruining this expensive holiday, because I knew I would have to watch my son like a hawk. I would have to, just I was already so stressed, because I'd already noted that nothing would stop this man. So I desperately didn't want to go on holiday with him because I just thought, it's going to be so stressful constantly having to watch this man. So when social services phoned me and said, oh, the police have reported that you've accused this man of abuse because he got caught by the police for doing whatever, and I said, yes, I have confronted his father for abusing my son, because my son disclosed to me that his father had hurt him, and I confronted him. So social services gave me one phone call, and then that was it. There was no follow-up after that, as far as I can remember. So fortunately, I managed to get away from going on holiday with this man. I can't remember the details as to how. I think he hadn't bought his ticket yet. I think he still had to buy his ticket. So he bought his ticket separately, and so yeah, he bought his ticket separately, and so we weren't going at the same time. I think I was going earlier than him. So I was so grateful because I thought, oh, at least I can relax this holiday and just not have to worry about this man trying anything with my son, or with me for that matter. So little did I know that there are more abusers in my family. So South Africa wasn't abuse free, unfortunately. I didn't realize my uncle was the same. And I know people are going to be like, this is unbelievable that there can be so many people that are abusers, but I don't think people realize that it's an epidemic. And I honestly wouldn't trust a soul Um, from what I've experienced, I'm trying to, yeah, I wouldn't trust any person with my child ever, ever, because I've just experienced so much. My son has experienced so much. I mean, just it's felt like every man in particular that we met was that way inclined. And I don't know why it is like that. I don't know what the attraction is. I don't know how a man thinks. And I know there are woman abusers as well, and I can't understand them either. I honestly don't understand why this is such a huge issue, a huge problem, and so prevalent. Um, but yeah, it turns out my uncle is not kosher either, unfortunately. So, yeah, we had a relatively stress-free holiday. Um, and it was really wonderful. And I do love my family, and I'm not better than my family. I would never want to be, I never wanted to be in a position like this. They've put me into this position, and they take personal offense to me speaking out, and they take personal offense to me speaking the truth. Um, and I don't know what they expect me to just keep quiet, and they expect to just like I said before, put up with whatever and just keep quiet, because they think, yeah, they do a lot. They're very generous, they're very kind, they'll move heaven and earth for you. They've given me so much, they've helped me so much, but at the same token, they take so much. They've taken my son's innocence. um, they've enabled, they've promoted, they've supported abuse. Um, and I'm not better than them. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to say, this is going to come out. Before you face God, confess it, apologize, repent, come back to God, because when He gets hold of them, it's going to be a gajillion times worse. It says in the Bible, it's better for a person to be tied to a millstone, or a millstone to be tied to a person's neck, and for them to be thrown into the deepest ocean, than for them to meet God, and to suffer the consequences of what they've done to an innocent child. So this is really, I'm doing this in love. If I didn't love them, if I didn't love my son, I wouldn't say anything. I would have a comfortable life. I would ignore it, and I would just excuse it and be like, oh well, let me have an easy life, and let me keep quiet, and they can get on with what they want to do, and just making excuses for them. And I, out of everyone in my family, have decided not to do that. Um, and I'm the worst in the world for speaking out, but you know, I believe my conscience is clear before God, because I haven't kept quiet, and I haven't just ignored it. Um, and I hope they see this as that I'm doing it in love, really, that I really want them to ask for forgiveness before they meet God, because the consequences of what they've done is horrific. And of course, I want them to stop hurting my son and any other child. So, yeah, it's horrific. But I'm going to end this video now and start the next one, picking up from where we went for the examination. And you know, I just want to say from that, you know, I could see when the detective came out, he'd obviously been speaking to my family and seen that there was a previous issue and gave me such a filthy look. And my heart instantly sank because I know they'd spoken to my family, and they'd obviously seen that I'd reported my sister's husband and his father before. So I think the doubt had already started. And also, the only issue I have with this whole thing is, if they had just spoken to my son, if they'd just taken the time to interview my son and spend time with him, even if it was just once a week, just spend time with him and try and get to the bottom of what was going on, this would have ended. This would have ended, because there's no way a child is going to be able to keep a secret like that. And any play therapist worth their weight in gold is going to get the truth. But I've since discovered that the truth doesn't matter in this world. The truth doesn't matter. The pedophiles are like a brotherhood, and you don't rat out your brotherhood. You support your brotherhood 100%, whether you're family or not family. So all the men that have been involved in this have supported each other. They've enabled each other. They've protected each other 100%. It doesn't matter if I'm the daughter, if I'm the sister, if I am the mother. I have been thrown under the bus. It doesn't matter who I am, but you protect the brotherhood, you protect each other, bottom line. Because if one sort of is found out, it's like a domino effect. The rest will be found out. So they do everything they can to protect each other. But I'll start the next video and explain everything.